No! Damn it! What's this?
Some devious little goblins have been robbing our merchants. When pursued, they simply open portals and disappear with the most aggravating chuckle. The peasantry seem to believe that the goblins serve a great demon lord known as Greed. And furthermore, that their portals lead to Greed's domain. A ludicrous notion, truly.
Before I start the lore section, I wanted to let you all know that I do not mention any specific treasure or rare items to include with these creatures, because each DM has their own way of handling player economy and rewards, so I did not want to make it seem like you needed to handle those things like I do. But if that is something you guys would be interested in seeing, I can always update the document later. Just let me know in the comment section below. In the grim, dark world of Sanctuary, mortal conflicts and eternal wars ravage the lands. Occasionally, during the aftermath of these battles, strange happenings can be witnessed, such as childish chuckles or a small creature scavenging through the fresh battlefield. These creatures are known to the world of Sanctuary as treasure goblins. However, these creatures have a demonic origin and are potentially from the burning hells. These treasure goblins are a mischievous nuisance to anyone who is unlucky enough to encounter them. They are known to swipe and steal anything valuable that they come across, such as gold, gems, and sometimes rare magical items. And then they teleport away without a trace or a clue on how to track them. All things stolen by these demons are considered lost forever. The purpose and origins of these treasure goblins was long debated before their motives became known to the world. Powerful hybrids of angels and demons known as Nephilim discovered a portal to a massive cavern full of gold and treasure. This cave was later named the Vault. Within this vault, the Nephilim witnessed these goblins rapidly entering the cave to empty their treasure-filled bags and disappearing just as fast. As the Nephilim explored further, they were attacked by tall hobgoblin-like demons with massive morning stars made of gold and spikes, and smaller unarmed demons. The Nephilim discovered what seemed to be the center of the vault, and a massive, obese, and grotesque demon covered in treasure and trinkets. They discovered Greed, the Baroness of the Treasure Realm. Baroness Greed, like most minor villains in Diablo 3, have very limited stories about them and little lore to discover. This is probably because they were only designed to be fought and killed once. Coming up with additional stories about a canonically dead creature could be seen by some as a waste of time. A majority of video games design their stories with unalterable endings, and so this greedy demon is a victim of such an occurrence. However, when translating this demon to D&D, this gives us the opportunity to fill in the blanks and tell new and interesting stories with her. It has been hinted at, but not confirmed, that Greed once belonged to a different, greater demon's army, so from this point forward, consider what I say as speculation. A demon by the name of Azmodan is known to be one of the 4 lesser primevals, making him one of the 7 most powerful demons. He is also known to be the Lord of Sin and command over powerful demon lieutenants. These demon lieutenants just so happen to have the same names or characteristics as the 7 deadly sins of Christian teachings, those being lust, gluttony, sloth, wrath, envy, pride, and of course, greed. Azmodan has stated that his favorite sins are greed and pride. Greed has been stated to be considered a demon lord as well. Her minions, the Vault Sentries, look extremely similar to Azmodan's demon troopers. It could very well be possible that Greed decided to abandon Azmodan's armies in pursuit of her own greed. Doing so would have left Azmodan without a lieutenant of Greed, which is why we never come across one in the games. Again, this is just a theory, no matter how convincing it may sound. This will be the first time I have statted out and created multiple creatures at the same time for the same video. I decided to try this out and see how you all feel about it. Also, I felt it was almost impossible to explain these creatures separately since they are so closely tied together. These creatures were designed as a type of demonic beehive, or colony rather, where drones come and go, leaving behind a material for the other bees to separate, all while the hive is patrolled by guards to protect the honey and the queen. So diving into the first stat block, we are looking at the sorting and counting Vault Peons. No, really, that's their official name, Vault Peons. I actually decided not to design a stat block for them at all. They have 0 original or unique abilities to highlight. So if you guys want to incorporate them, I would consider making them reskinned D&D goblins with like 1 hit point. That way you have some clutter to take some damage for the actual meaningful creatures in the vault. Moving on to the most popular creatures of the vault, we have the treasure goblins. I couldn't really find a good stat block that was similar to how I interpret these treasure goblins. So I decided to make them fast, skillful thieves with a resistance to fire and an immunity to charms. After all, these creatures were designed to be annoying treasure piñatas. These treasure goblins are paranoid enough to have advantage on all dexterity saving throws and ability checks. They can see through magical darkness, and I thought it would be a lot cooler and less frustrating for players if instead of the goblins having the ability to just flip the party the bird and teleport away at will, these goblins were instead at the mercy of their queen, Greed. I decided to give Greed the ability to cast the gate spell at will. This allows her to collect and send out her goblins as she sees fit. I know this version is not strictly based on the lore, and if you want a more lore-focused goblin, just give them the ability to teleport away. DM's choice. Wrapping up the treasure goblins, I gave mine the ability to cast Misty Step on a recharge. This gives them the ability to get out of grapples and other tricky situations. Lastly, the goblins in Diablo are incapable of harming players as far as I know. But this is D&D, and they need to be able to do something to protect themselves. So my treasure goblins have a toxic bite that slightly slows movement. And that about wraps it up for the goblins. Next up, we have the Vault Sentries, also known as hobgoblins. When first designing these brutes, I considered making their statistics that of a D&D hobgoblin, but because of their size and stature, they reminded me a lot more of a troll, so their physical statistics are almost identical with a troll's. But I gave them resistance to fire and some minor thematic adjustments, as well as I did not give them regeneration or any other troll abilities. Moving on to their attacks, I wanted them to feel more threatening to an invading group of adventurers, so I gave them the reckless attack ability, as well as a multi-attack and a stun to make them feel like actual guards protecting an area and a queen. Speaking of the queen, I think we're ready to talk about the Baroness herself, Greed. She was tricky to design at first. I wanted her to feel as threatening as my iteration of the Butcher Demon, but I felt like she should not be as physically imposing, so I had to give her more utility and less brute force. The Butcher Demon was based on the Balar, so I stayed with my theme and based Greed on the Nalfishneh. Greed received all the physical statistics from the Nalfishneh, minus the ability to fly. Also, because she was never shown to be resistant to a few of the elements that the Nalfishneh was, I removed those from her resistances, but left the obvious ones being fire and non-magical weapons. She also kept the same magic resistance from the Nalfishneh, but that's about where the similarities end. In Diablo, she has the ability to charge and slam into enemies, stunning them on a direct hit, so I translated this by making it similar to a Minotaur's charge attack with a saving throw or be stunned side effect. As I stated earlier, she has the ability to cast Gate, but I have limited this ability so that only her minions can use the portals she creates. For her attacks, she has some basic club and slam attacks, but she still has a treasure chest full of surprises. In the game Diablo, she was capable of thrashing around and making treasure fall from the sky onto the Nephilim. She was able to do this because of her lair. However, I did not want to limit her to a specific lair or location in case other DMs wanted to use her elsewhere. So I gave her the ability to make a magical rain of treasure. That way, she can still fight regardless of where you put her. This ability is kind of like a dragon's breath weapon in a way. She can use it to deal a nice chunk of damage, as well as have answers to ranged combatants. Her status deserves some legendary benefits, so we are going to give her 3 legendary resistances and actions. For her legendary actions, she can make up to 3 club attacks, or she can make 1 club attack and summon up to 5 treasure goblins, or 2 Volt Sentries. At first glance, this legendary action may seem a little crazy and deadly to use against players, but you can put any limitation on it that you see fit. I just want to leave options for her so she truly feels like the Queen of Greed, and the true Baroness of Treasure. Hey mages, let me know your thoughts on this new kind of video that contains multiple creatures that are kind of like tied together. Also, I wanted to let you all know that me and my friend Olaf the Bard have a podcast-style video that will be premiering this Friday at 6:15 Pacific Time in the US. The reason I decided to premiere this video instead of just uploading it is because I wanted to have a chance to chat with some of you and answer your questions if you guys have any about the channel or a video. So I hope to see you all guys there this Friday, and I wanted to thank you all for helping me grow the channel so much. It's been super fun, and I can't wait to just keep making more content and keep doing what I enjoy. Thank you guys so much.